What is up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. I'm super excited to record today's video. If you are a regular subscriber, then you know that today is Sunday, which means it is a Bachelor recap day. You also probably know that because it's the title of this video, but I'm so excited to get into this episode, mostly because I absolutely hated this episode and it broke my heart and made me want to cry for two reasons. Other than the two reasons, the episode was perfectly fine. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna dive right in, get straight into this episode. However, I do want to point out we kept it a little bit more casual today. I've got a messy bun. I did, straighten my wispies, and there is a slight dusting of makeup on my face, but I've been in these pajamas for the last 2 days, so definitely a much more casual video. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into the episode because I have so many points to make. Okay, so the episode starts where we left off, basically with this really ridiculous 2-on-1, I don't want to call it a date. It originally in other shows, in other past seasons, it's been called a 2-on-1 date, but that's not really what this is. It's like a 2-on-1 pre-cocktail party, so whatever. But it's between Jessenia and MJ. The whole thing was so stupid, and I'm so over this drama between them and just the overall drama in the house. So MJ continuously says that she preaches harmony and peace, while at the same time calling Jessenia a little B word. So yeah, that definitely preaches harmony and peace if you ask me. Not. And then even though MJ continuously calls Jessenia these hurtful, mean names like little B.I., you know what I'm saying, Jessenia retaliates simply by calling MJ by her first name, which is Meredith. And I just thought that was so hilarious and mom-like and so something that I would do. Then Matt comes out and he takes Jessenia and they have their little one-on-one time so that he can get to the bottom of all this drama or whatever. And while Matt and Jessenia are having their one-on-one time, MJ in her ITMs is what they're called. They're the in the moments, which are like the cutaway scenes that we get of the girls talking to the producers. In these ITMs, she starts crying and breaking down because she's so frustrated that all of this is happening. And then 2 seconds later, she says,
"Let me fluff my hair. I forgot who I was, but now I remember."
She says, and I quote,
"I had a weak B moment, but now I'm back."
Which I just thought that was so hilarious. I don't even know why. It was just such a ridiculous thing to say. And I just thought it was funny. Then, she gets her one-on-one time with Matt, whatever, but then they come all together and Matt ultimately decides to give Jessenia the rose. Applaud. I did side with Jessenia. I said in the last video, of course I side with Jessenia because MJ had been a bit of a bully in the house in past episodes, so I did side with Jessenia, but I really just thought Matt should have sent them both home because Jessenia in the past has said some hurtful things about the new girls, and you know what? I just thought, clean house. Let's just move on with the drama and get everyone out. So that's not what happened. He ended up giving Jessenia the rose, and then all the girls arrived for the cocktail party. Once all the girls arrive, Chris Harrison comes out and says,
"Actually, Matt says there's not going to be a cocktail party. We're just going to go right into the rose ceremony."
Which of course upsets a lot of the girls because they just had to have their time and they thought that the 10 minutes before the rose ceremony that they could get with Matt was going to save their butts for another week. So I just think that that's a dumb mentality to have. But anyways, when Chris Harrison comes out to cancel the rose ceremony, he leaves, and for some reason, this is one of the reasons why I hated this episode. For some reason, Serena C decides that she's going to attack Katie and blame her for the fact that there isn't a cocktail party. She says that if she would have never confronted Matt in the first place about the toxicity and drama in the house, then all of this time would not have been taken away from the rest of the girls having time with Matt. And I think that is the most ridiculous thing. This made me so mad and so worked up because honestly, Serena, are you saying that you're okay with the fact that all the new girls were being bullied? Because I'm not. Katie wasn't, and that's why she went to Matt. So I think that argument was completely pulled out of left field. She basically pulled it out of her butt to cause drama, and I don't know, maybe she's feeling insecure about her relationship with Matt, so she wanted to put all the blame on someone else. I don't know, but it made me so mad. So then we go into the rose ceremony, and they always pick one girl's ITMs to play throughout the rose ceremony. Last week it was Victoria, and then this week it was Ryan, and so she's crying in her ITMs. She's very frustrated, thinking that if she would have had more time, then she'll get a rose. So she's just very stressed that she might might not get a rose. So we go through the rose ceremony, all the girls get their roses, and we say goodbye to Brittany, Ryan, and Maggie. And I have a couple of points to make about this, okay? First of all, did we really just bring Brittany on this show to call her an escort on national television and then send her home? What was the point of all of that? Also, I loved Maggie. She was gorgeous. Not to mention, she was the closest thing that we had to like comic relief in this season. Do you guys remember the pumpkin boat episode? That was hilarious. And finally, my last point is that Michelle is the last of the new girls remaining. So, depending on how long Michelle lasts, it's kind of going to tell us if bringing new girls in was worth it or not. So the rose ceremony ends and we cut to the next day, and this is the most ridiculous. This made me so mad, okay? Serena decides that she wants to confront Katie because she's so mad about all this time being taken away from her and the other girls because of the antics that Katie has stirred up, which is, again, a ridiculous and stupid point. And so they have a little sit-down chat moment where it's just the two of them, and Serena just attacks Katie, basically, saying that she is the arsonist who's lighting all the little drama fires around the house. And the most ridiculous thing that Serena says is she tells Katie that she doesn't think she's here for Matt, which I think is so stupid. That's so dumb. In none of Katie's actions have we seen any sort of negativity about her intentions to be here. She has been the advocate for the girls who have been bullied, and I don't understand why Serena is attacking her. This made me so mad. So nothing gets resolved between them during this little conversation that they have, and so Serena steps aside and she like crashes like this little powwow that some of the other girls are having in the house, and she interjects herself and she says,
I just had the most heated conversation with Katie.
And of course Katie follows behind shortly after, and Serena is whispering, so Katie's like, you don't have to whisper, it's fine, what are you telling them? And the conversation goes like this, and I quote, Serena starts by saying,
I'm just telling them what you told me.
and Katie says, which is what? And then Serena says,
That your main focus is not to be with Matt.
Serena, where did you pull that quote from? I don't understand why. This just made me so mad and angry, and I just can't. And we're moving on. I can't. This made me so mad. Katie is a good person. She's wonderful. Katie for Bachelorette. Anyways, then one of the girls, before this scene ends, she says something like, let's not have any more drama or whatever. And so I knew that the second she said that, we were going to get the cutaway scene of Heather arriving. So, of course, this is the episode where Heather arrives because she wants to be a part of the show. She wants to meet Matt. And honestly, you guys, this actually wasn't the episode she arrived. She actually arrived probably 2 or 3 weeks earlier, but she had to self-quarantine. So we get these vlog clips of her throughout the episode, and honestly they are so goofy and so ridiculous that it gave me hope that maybe Heather will be the funny person on this season. But anyway, so Heather shows up in her little white minivan, and she is from Colton's season. And if you remember on Colton's season, her little job description bar, there's always the girl's name on night 1. It always says their name, their age, and then underneath it says their job description. And on Heather's, it said never been kissed. And then she arrives in this episode and her little job description bar says Colton season. Heather, what do you do for a living? I need to know these things. So Heather arrives and she tells Matt,
Hannah B is my best friend, and she says that she met Matt and she thinks that the two of us are soulmates.
And she tells all this to Chris Harrison, and Chris Harrison's like, well, there's not really much I can do about it now. Let me run it up the hill and talk about it with, production or whatever and see if it's okay. Ultimately, they get the okay, and like I said, we get the vlogs of her while she's self-quarantining, and it is so funny. Anyways, we cut to the next portion. Piper gets the one-on-one, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, we had friends over the night that we watched this, and I didn't really watch most of this. The only thing I know is that they had the carnival date, and this date posed a lot of questions for me. First of all, they walk in the dark up in the woods or whatever, and then they get to this power box with a little lever. Did that lever actually turn anything on, or was it a decoy? That's my first question. My second question, were they the only ones there really? If they were, who is controlling the rides? And the reason why I pose this question is because if you remember on Michelle's one-on-one date, they had the hot air balloon date, and if you watched that date very carefully, you would have noticed that there was a third guy in the balloon basket date with them, but they definitely had him duck for some shots for whatever reason. So like, are there other people on this date with them who are like controlling the rides? I don't know. Also, final question. Sorry, these are so stupid, but these are my legit questions. So in regular Bachelor seasons, the girls in the house, usually their season is filmed over the summer, and in the Bachelor mansion, which is in California normally, the girls aren't allowed to turn on the AC because it like conflicts or interferes with the audio. So here's my question. How in the world did a whole stinking carnival not interfere with your audio? Then we cut to the dinner portion, and I wasn't super paying attention. I do know she tells Matt that she's falling in love with him, and again, Matt does not say it back. She gets the rose, but Matt didn't actually say, I'm falling in love with you too. So far, Rachel is the only person he has said that to. And then we go to the group date. So this whole date, it was a bowling date, and the whole date seriously gave me such like PTSD to Ari Lyondike's season. I think that's his name. I don't know. It was like the same exact situation, the same exact circumstances. So, of course, you know, you get two teams and they're going to bowl against each other. Chris Harrison comes out and tells them the winning team gets extra time with Matt and the losing team goes home, just like on Ari's bowling date. And then, of course, you know, one team wins, one team loses. And so the girls who lose, so I think it was the blue team that lost, they're, of course, very upset that they lost all of their time. And the pink team goes on to their, you know, after party with Matt. And then the part that gave me the most PTSD to Ari's season of this bowling date from Ari's season is Chris Harrison shows up with a date card at the mansion where the losing team went home. He shows up with a date card that says,
you guys are invited to the after party, come on.
And that's basically exactly what happened on Ari's season, except Ari just basically told them right after the game, let's just all go, rather than having them go home and then Chris Harrison delivers a card. But anyways, I'm talking very fast, sorry. The one thing that stuck out to me about this part though is that Chris Harrison comes to deliver the date card and Kit is like in her robe drinking like tea or coffee or something, and if that were me, I probably would have been like, I'm comfy, I'm good, you guys go ahead, I'm just gonna stay home. They end up going to the after party, and you know, some of the girls get shown having one-on-one time with Matt. I wasn't really paying very close attention at this point, but Michelle gets the group date rose, so good for her, that's great. Next scene, Katie gets the one-on-one, and I was so excited for Katie to finally get her one-on-one and for her to grace our televisions. I was so excited for this, and they delivered. So before their one-on-one date, Matt ends up having like a little get-together with Tyler C. They have their little powwow, they're playing pool, whatever, nothing really was accomplished here. It was just like a very short like cutaway scene. Katie arrives for her one-on-one date with Matt. She's looking cute. They're gonna have some fun. They're gonna prank Tyler C. Tyler C thinks that he's shown up for a regular old massage at a spa, but what he doesn't know is that his masseuse is actually a hired actress, and she's got a little bug in her ear or whatever, a little ear thing, whatever, and Matt and Katie are giving her instructions of what to do to prank Tyler. So a lot of really funny things happen here, and then, you know, they show up and they are like,
joke's on you, Tyler, blah, 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 we were pranking you.
We cut to the dinner portion, and this is the scene that breaks my heart and makes this episode the worst episode of Matt's season so far. I wanted to cry, okay? So Katie arrives, they have their dinner, she's telling him all about her past relationships and about how she really needed to search to find herself, and she's kind of like come to this new place where she feels more confident and da-da-da, and you could just tell it was not going to go well for her. And so Matt does not give her the rose and ends up sending her home, and this broke my heart. I love Katie so much. I wasn't ready to say goodbye to her from my television screen, okay? I wasn't ready. I love Katie. The last scene of the episode is all the girls going to the cocktail party before the final rose ceremony of the week, and of course this is when Heather is finally going to arrive. So she pulls up in her white minivan. She drove herself for some reason I don't understand. She comes through, she gets stuck in the revolving doors, and she goes to talk to Matt, and of course all the girls are freaking out and they're all fired up and they're angry. And so Heather walks in, she goes to find Matt, and she interrupts Matt's time with Piper, I believe, and this whole scene was so awkward, you guys, because she walks in and she's like, hi Matt, and then they both start really awkwardly laughing. Like, here's how it goes. So this pillow is Piper and I'm Matt, and this is how it goes. So Matt sees Heather walk in and he's like, ah, ha, 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 ha. Super, super awkward. And at the same time, Heather is also doing this really awkward laugh where she's like turning sideways and she's like, ha, 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 ha. I didn't understand. It was very strange and very awkward and cringy, and I didn't appreciate it. But anyways, the episode basically ends there, and we get the promo for next week. And wow, what a heated promo it was. So the promo basically circulates around the fact that all of the girls hate Heather, pretty much. And here's what I have to say about that. A couple of episodes back, I think it was last week's episode, remember there was the feud between the OGs and the new girls, and once Anna got sent home, all of the OG girls start frantically apologizing to the new girls, and we weren't really sure, are they being sincere? Are they being fake? Here's how I know that all of those apologies were 100% fake, because they are gonna do the exact same thing to Heather. I just don't understand why these girls are being this way. I'm so over the drama at this point. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it. Every single week there's a new feud. So there was the Anna Brittany feud, then there was the Jasenia MJ feud, then there's the Katie Serena feud, and next week it's going to be the feud between Heather and literally every single girl that's left in the house, and I'm not okay with that. She's going to be the new Sarah, basically. They are all going to gang up on her and attack her, and I am so not prepared to see that. It is going to be a hot mess. Well, there you have it, guys. There are all of my thoughts on this episode of The Bachelor. I am going to get Logan's thoughts on this episode, so stay tuned for that. Hey, babe.
Yeah.
I need to know, what are your thoughts on the most recent episode of The Bachelor?
Oh, goodness. I can think back. I still like Matt. I do. I think he's probably the best Bachelor that I've seen, well, ever. But I didn't really... I understand, it's all about how you're feeling and everything like that. But I just didn't agree with him sending Katie home, especially in that moment, especially in that week and everything with everything else that was going on, because then it just solidified
everything that Serena C was thinking.
Yeah, and that it's not true at all.
Right.
I have no idea. No offense, Serena C, if you're ever watching this for whatever reason, but I have no idea why you're still there.
Right.
We have never seen any connection between you and Matt, at least that was produced on air and stuff like that. We've never seen any interaction between you two.
I mean, I think it was obvious that Katie wasn't going to be a finalist, but I just wasn't ready for her to leave my screen.
Yeah, I thought she was going to be like a Final Four or something like that.
I don't know about that. To the edit that she got, we never really saw her with Matt. So
yeah, who knows?
But Katie for Bachelorette.
Yes.
And there you go, guys. That is the whole episode. Thank you so much for watching and for just being a part of this journey with us. Be sure to like and subscribe on both YouTube and Facebook if you have not done so already. And make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up. Give it a like because it really supports our channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't you forget to tick the notification bell down below so that you get notified every single time we post a new video. Don't forget to tune in next time and make sure you guys tell a friend. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye!